hello. Welcome back to the USS Summer Split Week 3. My name is Derwin, and today I'm also with the wonderful Sam. How are you doing tonight, Sam?
I'm very good this evening. I think we have a good matchup on the way. We're getting deeper into the tournament, so I think we're starting to get a bit of a regulation in terms of how these teams fare up, and it's going to be less one-sided as we push through this bracket overall. I'm excited about today.
Yes, sir. So am I. You know what? You know it's great because we have two, I think, probably the best names in the entire event. We have the ongoing lore development that is Winston is sentenced to 7 years in prison, as we all know. But we're also having them versus Yahvin'a'poo.
Yeah, was he named after their team captain, who perhaps had a few laxatives this morning and might struggle to get through the game today.
I sure hope he can sort himself out because this is going to be a big game for them. Looks like this is also a rival team, so not only are we going to see some great plays, hopefully, but also I think we're going to see a little bit of trash talk. And listen, I've been there from old StarCraft 2 days. I've been seeing some trash talk for some time. How do you feel about a little bit of personal banter in these events? How do you feel?
I mean, I think as long as it's kept like within the confines of the game and it is all in good spirits, I think it can definitely add to an environment, right? It's pressure, it's tensity for both sides, for the audience, for the broadcast team too. It just adds a further aspect to things that can definitely increase the spirit of competition. But I think we should have a look at these rosters here, talk them through, and see if there's any names that stand out to us, any players who we're excited to look forward to as we get to look at these two teams.
Yeah. So I believe I can't remember. Do we have subs tonight or no, or did they figure that out? I think we have 2 subs tonight.
I think that, yeah, that depends on if they want to come into the game. As we look here, we see the double DPS line of Eli and Chief, and then it's Carl on tank with Geode and UNESCO on the support line. And for Yahvin'a'poo, it's Kirai and Skengus Khan. Skengus Khan, we are aware, is the subject of some of that Winston scrutiny. And Pumaki, which I think might be going with the Yahvin'a'poo theme, or might just be an unfortunate name, is on the tank, and Doctor alongside Yavin himself on that support line. Eloy, definitely a name that stands out to me, a star player, absolutely can hit some beautiful shots. I'm expecting to see some great gameplay. I'm excited about this Pui team, and they have a doctor at least to double check on their gut health and perhaps provide the prescriptions to prevent some of that diarrhea.
Sir, I'm looking forward to this. Listen, I'm already hyped. I've been with USS a whole lot, but we're seeing some pretty important names who come up quite frequently and showing off how good they are. Eloy, as you said, excellent at landing those shots, as you said. Like, he has hit some insane overclocks on Sojourn. And Kirai as well, also kind of a standout player. Both these teams, I'm excited. I just can't wait to get into this game. What are your thoughts on some of these players?
I think they're all great. I think it's also important that we have a look at what map we're going to be going to see where they can really shine. This map pool, I think it's quite interesting, the map pool we have for USS this split, and it provides a lot of opportunities for some interesting picks, but also we have the standard options too, as we look to see where it's gone for with Winston picking the map. That's Winston sent to 7 years in prison, WIST7YIP, who go towards King's Row. So it's a classic. It's an all-timer. It's one where stars can shine, but also it's one that can be defined by the overall map understanding. It's those set plays, it's those reps that really get you through on King's Row when it's such a consistent map to be played here. So there's the perfect platform for stars to shine, but also for team cohesion to bring you through.
Yes, sir. I'm such a fan of Kings Row. They give you such great games. Moving to the bands, we have Bastion and Ana band.
Yeah.
So Bastion makes a little bit of sense. We've seen Cat Bastion be kind of oppressive in the past couple of seasons, but Ana band, that's an interesting band you don't see every single day. Talk me through that band.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Bastion band definitely makes sense with the Cat Bastion pick. Ana maybe just a counter ban, maybe don't want to get rid of like a strong ban too early. definitely a wise choice, I think, a strong hero in the end. And Eloy, she's going over to the Cassidy, another character that she can hit some shots on. There's the Sojourn that you mentioned earlier, actually, that signature hero. And a Chief on the Mei, I think Mei's always great on King's Row. Got Wantom, a big name here too, not shown on the original lineup, but the captain of the team, one of the stars of USS many years running now, and Unisco and Carl taking the BAP and Lifeweaver backline. It's very interesting that BAP Lifeweaver, it's not the most common place. On the other side, we see a Mercy picked up, maybe just pocketing that Sojourn, maybe pocketing the Pharaoh. It could be a pharmacy situation with Pumaki on the Doomfist. Actually, there we go. The Kiriko, Mitsuki, very common backline, I think. These days, Yavin taking the Mitsuki and Genghis Khan moving over to the Cassidy as we get into this map.
Yes, sir. It is great to see some different team comps. You know, for a while we saw very mirrored team comps, so I like to see that these two teams play something a little more different. And I honestly think that this game is going to come down to getting those picks. Big damage onto Genghis Khan there. Kirai pressuring out the Mei in Hotel. Chief looks like he's trying to duel it out, not quite finding that angle. Ults in favor of Yahvin'a'poo.
Yeah, it's pretty bloody doors, but Pumaki just has a wall, not got much support to get away. Is he going to survive it? Yeah, looks to do so. They went from low HP, but the shot from Genghis Khan. Actually, it's Wantom with that final blow into Pumaki, so it's an early pick for Winston to sustain this first defensive hold.
Yeah, so that's not great, but all good. Regroup. We'll re-push again. Big picks from Team Winston here. Wantom goes down after, or sorry, Genghis Khan goes down after trying to pressure out Wantom from that angle.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there for Yahvina'poo, who just can't quite get out here. But now Wantom caught off to the side, pressured out by Pumaki once more, gets the mini pack, so has some more sustain, but needs some care here. There's the lamp from the Baptiste to provide that supportive line. Dr. Doctor is going to break that one out, but so critical is this hazard. But there's a headshot from Chief once again, just keeping the team in this advantage. Yahvina'poo, they're getting situations where they have potentials, and there's the first time. Pumaki onto Eloy is big. That's a lot of damage potential lost, and there's Wantom with an instant trade. Kirai down, here's the Deadeye and the Blizzard as well. Genghis Khan gonna get frozen out here, gonna get headshot here as well by Chief, and that's gonna be another 1-out fight for Winston.
That was, it was almost so great, and Winston clutch it out. Looks like they're not quite done yet as Doctor goes down. Pumaki also goes down as well. You know, it was a great start there of getting the pick onto Eloy, and it looks like they just instantly recovered. It was, hate to see it, but we have every ult aside from High Noon available to Yahvina'poo here. We also down the Blizzard from Winston. I do believe we're going to see the first one come out here with the overclock. Finds the pick on his Genghis Khan. With the window, just so much damage available to this team, and completely forced. Hey, Doctor explodes from the overclock.
Yeah, it's a crazy shot there. As I mean, the window overclock has such high damage. It's hard to get away from that one. If you give a single headshot angle to Eloy, she is going to land that one too. And that's what we've seen out here. They did invest 2 here. They only have 2 remaining. It's the hazard ultimate with the life tree. But Eloy with a beam onto Genghis Khan. Pops an easy into chat and Wantom into Kirai as well. It's so hard to hit the Yahvina'poo. There is the hazard ult aggressive towards the spawn. Maybe an overextension here could be what Yahvina'poo need, as they do have a lot of ults on the table. Pumaki can keep going forward with the primary range. Invested quite early actually. Now takes a lot of damage down the path. Trees invested to keep the support alive. There's not taking much damage with Winston specific. He isn't putting hit comes to Katsuna up from Doctor, adding to that damage potential. Pumaki finds the first one, Unisco. There's a barrage from Kirai on 2, and that's going to be fight 1 finally for Yahvina'poo. The overextension to Winston. Really, he's evidence for Yavin. Wantom gets one in the end, but Yavin, player, takes Yahvina'poo forward.
That was an excellent engagement there from Yahvina'poo. That was very well played. The Primal didn't get as much value, but it created enough space for the team there for them to find that double kill with the Pharaoh. That was exactly the play you wanted to see there. Yavin switching off to the Wu Yang. Think we're going to have a little bit of success here. Unisco goes down a little bit earlier than you want him to go down. Once I'm dipping a little bit low, Blizzard comes out from Chief. And Yavin loses that. Chief goes down as well for that pick. Who is going to be the next pick? Relatively even.
I think Winston, WIST7, sorry, they look like the slightly better team here overall. I think they just fumbled that defensive hold with some over-aggression from Wanton, but Eloy has been hitting some lovely shots as we expect out of her, and it's hard for Yahvin'a'poo to stay alive here. As Wanton's gripped to safety, so keeping their tank alive is WIST7YIP.
We do have overclock available to both teams, so we might see a bit of a duel here. It is a matter of who gets their first pick, you know? Big damage onto Yavin, forcing them off. This ends now. Who is going to take this pick to the overclock? Yavin dip it super low. Can he survive? Lots of damage in that hallway. But doesn't get the pick.
Right there.
Carl goes down. Double kill from Yavin. 3 members of Winston go down here as the barrage comes out as well. I think we might be able to clutch this out still in favor of Winston. Lots of damage coming up from both teams, but, you know, keeping them just above where they want to be, you know. Not quite kill threat, but, you know, healthy enough.
Yeah, one point staying right, that's huge.
Yeah, it's great because you get hit by that Sojourn and your health bar just evaporates. Luckily, both of these support lineups keeping the team very nice and healthy. We have the Primal coming out for Lumaki here. Tree in response.
Yeah, the tree's on cart to give them some more sustain as they look to hold this one out, but Winston in the double has his own sustain, and Tracy's working down so early. Now they need to get to contesting. The rush comes through. Here they are on the cart. There's Fingers starting with the overclock 2. The Kitsune is mirrored, so all fighting. Kirai and Lumaki combined. It's Kirai for 3, and the Farah, who won the first fight, wins them the second one too. The second big one, that is, for the second capture. Kirai looking huge here on that Farah. That swap early doors, paying dividends.
The reset there on a Carl. Oh, just the same thing again. You get a lot of that pressure there from Boomer, you know, force out a lot of these really important cooldowns with the Primal, and then it just lets Kirai run rampant, and it's worked twice now, getting a triple kill on both of those team fights on first point and now second. Starting to wonder, are we going to need to make some changes in our gameplay? Genghis Khan goes down though. Looks like the team comp is just to keep killing members of Yahvin'a'poo.
Is it available?
We do have Blizzard. Good shout.
And on the other side, the barrage, Kirai's always found value with that so far. Found 2 earlier, found 1 later on. So either way, getting picks and notably not getting traded out, which can be such a risk for a Farah barrage, even with that movement available. Eloy forced off the high ground. That's nice work from Primo. He played this Winston very well. After they got first net, barrage onto a blocking hazard. That's maybe not the best use of it, but rushing out, Kiriko forced the TP, taking a lot of damage from Kiroi. There's the hazard ultimate. Traps Flunky, who's in a bubble, but tries to one from the shotgun. And that's nice work from the hazard. Now pushes further forward. Only 20 seconds left, and Yahvin'a'poo have to kite this, have to back away because they need to stay alive here for a retouch.
That was a excellent pick onto Bumaki there. You're starting to see how much pressure, you know, that dive is getting in. Good shout into to push him out. Looks like we're going into overtime here. Are Yahvin'a'poo going to face it? We don't have many else to work with. We have Yavin almost coming out, Overclock and Tree both coming out, as well as the Blizzard. Can we force them off with the Overclock? We get a pick on a Genghis Khan and Bumaki. Working bad for Yahvin'a'poo. And Winston deny that 3rd point.
That's so unfortunate there for Pumaki, who was caught on the edge of that Blizzard in the Wu Yang ultimate, had a lot of availability to just live on that cart, but then forced away from it by the snowstorm and gets frozen out in the end. Can't survive inside the bubble, gets blown down, and it's a good push there from Yahvin'a'poo, but it's definitely winnable for Winston here, as they've given themselves a win con. They held so long on the first point that in the end the time just ticked down too far for Yahvin'a'poo. I think Eloy looking strong overall. Wanton playing very, very well on that hazard. On the other side, Pumaki looked great on the Winston, and I think overall both teams had a strong start, strong showing. Sorry, and I think it's still in contest here, but I think advantage is currently for Winston is sentenced to 7 years in prison.
Yeah, they looked very strong in that first point, constantly denying a lot of those dive attempts. Shut down a lot of angles that were being taken. You saw Kirai try and push Chief out of Hotel and just not happening, as well as whenever Boomonkey dived, it wasn't getting anything really of value for them to work with until, you know, we got that really good play with Boomonkey and Kirai worked on point 1 and 2. Unfortunately, they couldn't line it up on point 3. So I will agree. I think Winston is sent to 7 years. I do believe they have a little bit of an edge in this game here, but don't count your eggs before they've hatched. Don't do that.
This is cool. They've got the wall with the hazard, and then Symmetra teleport going high, going early, aggressive. Can this have to get the pick onto the M-Ray? It's getting so low and gets found.
Double kill!
In the meantime as well, so it's an early start here for Winston. This is nice, and Yahvin's found a pick, and it's not over yet because here comes the Monkey, and that's Boomonkey and Yahvin combining. So we're trading it out, but Wantom has found Dr. keeping advantage in the hands of Winston. 7 years in prison.
That was cool. You see that? That was tech.
Cool. That's lovely. The hazard wall up high and the Sim TP on top of it. Now the Symmetra's found herself further up on high ground, just providing some pressure as Boomonkey is back around, so can go for the contest jumping through here, but having to get through those Sim turrets and that high damage from a charged up beam is such a struggle at times. They're just going to let the capture come through, so no recontest for Yahvin'a'poo.
Unfortunately not. Good show, I think, to back off. You probably could have, but I don't know. Good safe call to just deny that first point there. Oh no! Boomonkey! And he gets cut off by the wall! Oh, that's brutal! TP here from Chief. Do we get a pick? Oh, very well played.
Doctor though finds the headshot onto UNESCO, and their Sting is gone onto Eloy, so that's advantage. Yahvin'a'poo, despite losing their tank early.
We should probably stop the payload.
Goes down. I don't think it matters too much that he's gone down at the moment. It's a good pick, but I think you'll regroup generally pretty quickly. Seeing Eloy swap to the Soldier instead of staying on the Sojourn. Sting is gone running the M-Ray instead.
Yeah, sticking on that M-Ray, but Eloy switched over to a new scan target. And up high is Boomonkey's forced away by the hazard of Wantom, so tentative on these fights, and here comes the Wantom Autumn that just built up in time, and the beam's so high, the Monkey has to back away, and Monkey survives.
Yes!
It's a big pick, but Kirai onto the trade onto Eloy. No advantage, I'd say, to Winston as they have the tank up, as they taking down the opposing Winston, but now the pressure from Chief on that Symmetra means Genghis has to invest that light steal with the Siphon Blaster and backing away, fighting from this high ground. It's looking like the tree could be big here to provide some sustain, the rush coming soon for both teams as well, and Yahvin has that Wii ultimate to keep either his tank alive or himself potentially can combine with the barrage to make Kirai more of a threat with that tree.
The double kill from Kirai goes down from the barrage damage. Wantom going down now as well. Not looking good in terms of favor for Winston 10 to 7 years. As that's team wipe. Wow! That was fast!
Yeah, that was lovely. Really nice team right there. It was, I mean, there's still ults available, but teams can mirror the rush. It was Kirai with the 2 on the barrage, finding value once more on that Pharah, and that was the opening to then be snowballed down. I think Yahvin'a'poo here playing this nicely. Wantom and very aggressive as you have to do on the hazard, but perhaps overextended at points, finding yourself out of position. Here comes the rush from Doctor, and that's going to be a pick onto UNESCO, so no return rush. You can see a team fight for Yahvin'a'poo. Perhaps that is a mistake though.
Where are my banners?
Did I not hear the MRL? Am I losing my mind?
No, it's not gone off. It's still there. It's still definitely
Wait, what was the voice like? Am I stupid?
I don't know. I didn't hear an MRL at all.
Okay, maybe I'm losing my mind as Chief has moved over to that Shion as well. That's a cool switch up away from that Symmetra. We do still have the override protocol for Yahvin'a'poo. Have that primal rage as well, so sustain to the tank. Play a little bit more aggressive. UNESCO didn't mirror the rush in the previous fight, which led to the loss, but does mean they have it here uncontested.
Coming out of previous note. Lots of damage coming out onto this team here. As the turret down comes down as well. Monkey going wild. Can he find the pick on the Wantom? He's taking so much damage he can't stay alive, and he goes down as well. only losing Kirai for that, and meanwhile forcing back all of Winston since 7 years. That's rough. This
Yeah,
is
Kirai.
very rough attack.
Kirai's been great. Close to that Farah barrage once more. Only 2 fights deep from prior usage, and Winston have nothing here, just a life, Tree of Life story coming up soon, but they invested that rush on Unisco straight away. Here comes the monkey in that and over gets
oh my
the
god!
life and takes the pick as well. That's beautiful from Tree Monkey combining with Yavin.
Wow! The leap, catch him in the air. That was excellently well played. Kangaskhan finding the pick on the Chief. The picks over and over again this is brutal. You just never have 5 members of Winston is sent to 7 years able to coordinate, and there's always just like one person getting picked off, and then because of that, they can't really do anything here. This is absolutely well played for this team.
Yeah, it's so hard for Winston here. They're getting stumped by Yahvin'a'poo, who once again have the advantage. Goes to the overdog, and there's that barrage. One jump down early, look for tank, and how do you play this one now? 50 seconds left on the clock, you have to fight it, but the Sion on that bike riding away gets the grip from the life leader to keep her alive. They're forced to oh my god, they're sent back to their own spawn. I need to drink some water.
Don't worry, Sam, I got you. Chief, looks like Chief is trying to play for this flank. I'm starting to genuinely be a little bit worried if we can see Winston is set to 7 years get any push here. Eloy dipping a little bit low. Kangaskhan sending the protocol. Eloy ripping the ends now, and he finds the pick on the Kangaskhan. Pushing up with this advantage. Can we find a second pick? Yes, we can. Kirai goes down as well. Not before taking out Unisco, but I don't think that Winston is sent to 7 years really cares. Comes up to Dr. Eloy goes down after Poo Monkey goes wild. Double kill on the Carl here. He falls as well. Yahvin'a'poo turning this into their favor. Can they clutch this out? Eric down, goes down. I don't think we're gonna get a pick here. Poo Monkey trapped. I don't think he cares. I think Yahvin'a'poo playing round 1.
Yeah, I think actually taking off Unisco early in that fight was the reason they won that, because Dr. got an uncontested Kitsune rush. Unisco died before they could proc theirs, had to use it actually to get out of spawn to return to that point quick enough, but in the end died on that point as the juggle on the hazard kept him further away. Wanchom took damage from that and also couldn't get the sustain, couldn't offer a TP either for the Kiriko. So lovely work from Pumaki on the Winston, lovely work from Yahvin'a'poo overall. After a good but not great attack, they have a like formidable defense. It was borderline perfect. They lose first point, but that's pretty standard on King's Row. I don't quite know about the Carl Lifeweaver. I don't know what value it added. We had Tree of Life for 3 fights before it was invested to counter an Emery ultimate, which ultimately it did do, and the Emery goes down to the Sojourn ultimate, but when you're holding onto a support for 3 fights, it feels like a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, that second point there, like the push from Winston 7 years, it felt so staggered. That team looks like they wanted to, you know, find a nice flank angle, but it never really worked out in their favor. It was a complete turnaround from game 1 there, where they were finding that pick, and then in return, now they were getting picked off. It just seemed to last a little bit longer than they wanted, but excellently well played from both teams. I don't doubt that Winston sent to 7 years might clutch out another game 2. I hope we're seeing a 2 out of 1 here. What do you think?
I mean, they have pick, they have ban, so it's advantage towards Winston in terms of this following map. But of course, the worst case scenario, the worst situation you get yourself in after losing map 1 is that despite getting advantage map 2, you're always down to be disadvantaged in map number 3. The pick will always go the way of the other team. So here, I suspect to see Winston win, because I mean, despite it not being the closest of games on that King's Row, they definitely showed a lot on their defensive side. So a more than capable team. Elo can hit some shots on anyone, and Wantom looking good on the tank. I think they need to switch up their support line, but with advantage on pick, advantage on ban, I do suspect it will go their way. But beyond that, I think the series is in the hands of Yahvin'a'poo as they go towards Lijiang Tower, so it's hitting the King's Row Lijiang double up.
Also a go to map, by the way. Can I just say, love this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic, right? What do you think when you think of Uni Esports? You think of King's Row, you think of Lijiang Tower, and here we are picking the most standard 2, and Unfortunately for Winston, picking a stand of Matt Pryor didn't go their way, so it has to be different on Lijiang. They have to ban something out here. Maybe banning out a Winston could be a good call here.
Ironic from the name. Let's just say,
Yeah.
like we can't overlook that. That is just peak irony.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe they're the ones sending Winston to 7 years in prison. Freya.
I mean, sure. Lucio's cool though. Oh, we've lost the Freya ban. The Freya ban came in and then died, so maybe not
Maybe not.
accurate. But I mean, maybe it is. But we can talk about the Lucio ban a little bit. The speed offered by Lucio. I mean, Lucio is maybe one of the most unique. Yeah, the Freya ban was an accident, but yeah, Lucio, one of the most unique characters. There's a Farah ban. That one makes a lot more sense. So much value from that barrage, from just the constant damage, building it up so fast as well. So not only there's barrage ultimates, but also the ability to build them up fast and provide that pressure. It was huge for Yahvin'a'poo. So this is a smart one for Winston. And then on the other side, Lucio, again, unique hero. Juno can offer speed, but not the same style of speed as Lucio. Not that consistent mobility, and I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Lucio, consistently very strong character, and I mean, do we even really need to like go down why this Farah ban is a great idea? Because it seems so obvious. The only thing that was really able to contest it was like your Sojourn rail there, and it was like you would build it up, and even if you didn't land it, it was like, uh-oh, this isn't good for us. And you know, the Winston dive executed with the Farah dive, just it's so much damage, and it lands so many multi-kills all at the same time. That is rough to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The Sojourn from Eloy is definitely a threat, but it's not the most consistent. Perhaps that's why that soldier came through to pressure out the Farah with more consistent damage, but I don't think it was quite enough here. So yeah, good ban coming through, and we get to see his team comps, and there's the Cat Bastion for Winston. I mean, I hate this comp, but it's certainly a way to turn the tides in their favor. Chief on the Tracer, Wantum on the Malga, and Carl looking to keep the Malga alive on that Kiriko. On the other side, Pumaki sticking on the Winston, going to face a lot of pressure from those machine guns of the Malga and the Bastion, but Doctor and Yavin sticking to their support line. Skengis comfortable on that Emre too. Looked good in the Prior, so should look good here, but I think advantage team comps wise definitely goes towards Winston in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, Malga, Cat Bash, Kiriko, what a strong team comp, you know, like it's, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to win. Come on. It works. No reason to not pick what doesn't work here, you know? You're already seeing a lot of this value here as Skangisgon gets super low. He's going to survive versus slightly. Pumaki takes so much damage all at once. Is he going to die? Yes, he is. The Malga's going to stop him in his tracks. Big damage on the Wanton, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Emre dueling Malga. Not sure if that's the call.
Yeah, good switch here from Pumaki. Falls early, instantly realizes what the comp is, and goes, you know what, I'm going to play some massive damage mitigation. That defense matrix is great into a Bastion, great into a Malga, so a good call, and it could, I mean, it has to be the difference maker as the first point's gone the way of WIST instead of Catcher, sorry.
We're getting a Tracer v Tracer duel here. Pretty cool. I wonder who wins that, you know, isolated. Does Kirai or Chief win that isolated? I think we'll find out. Lots of damage coming here on a Pumaki. Gets D-Max, the Malga ripping apart that health bar. Yavin snipes Unisco out of the air. Kirai getting super low. Shit, we're getting that 1v1, and it looks like the answer is Chief wins that 1v1.
I would like to note that Unisco was sniped out the sky because Unisco went to type in chat and got shot by the Anna in the meantime. Fortunately, that Cat went so fast, but another dominant win out here. The Cat Bastion, I mean, it's so effective. The Diva, Pumaki, switches out to a new tank, and it doesn't matter because the machine guns beam her down, and that's that, right? And now Pumaki off the sideline, looking for a different angle, looking to hit the fight from a different direction.
We have also economy here in favor of Winston for 7 years. That's not exactly what you want to see. Looks like Nano is available to Yahvin'a'poo here. You're right, dipping super low. Nano boost comes out. Eloy shred, and he falls into the pit. Uh-oh. That I think is exactly what they needed. Puma diving Wanton here. Kitsune Rush comes out as well. Wanton falls to the Kitsune Rush combo. Kirai loses the duel to Chief. It looks like Winston to 7 years can bleed. It looks like it. Doctor falls as well. Quite literally, as Skangisgon also goes down to Chief. and I believe we're going to turn this around. Can Yahvin'a'poo playing this in OT? Cage match goes down as well. Taunts the bomb just a little bit. Eloy falls to the bomb. Blue Monkey falls as well. Can they touch overtime? Protocol comes out and no! Can't.
That's unbelievable. That was, I mean, that was a mistake from Carl, in my opinion. That was a mistake. On paper, you invest a Kitsune Rush when you're down 5-3, but in the end, the Tracer finds the opening pick, gets it 5-4, and then, sorry, gets it 4-3, and then Carl finds another jewel, and they turn it around in that rush, and Doctor can't build up the rush in time to counter that. I think 99% when they ended up falling, maybe 98. And when you don't, when you're in an uncontested rush, you instantly have the advantage despite the lack of tank, the lack of Bastion. Chief comes out with Unisco and Carl to get enough damage on the board. Yahvin'a'poo try and kite it, and I think that might have been a mistake there. When you have defense matrix from D.Va, you're close to that bomb, you're close to that carry out, you just fight in it. You say we have the 5v3 advantage, we can win this duel, but they allow the WIST players to come back in a more advantaged situation, and that's how they lost it. Kirai switching over to the Genji now.
Can I just say, been a Genji fan day one. I was there, but I hope we can shut down this Cat Bastion comp, dishonest comp. Boo. Nah, do what you gotta do to win. That's definitely the shout. But Chief is getting work here. Did win a lot of the duels on Kirai, but it looks like we're out for revenge as Chief is the first one to fall. Carl takes a lot of damage, also falling to Kirai, out for blood. Dueling the D.Va now, a little bit zealous, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of health for you. Eloy also being the one to fall. Yahvin'a'poo looks like they completely turned this match in their favor. Very well played this first fight.
Yeah, absolutely. As Kirai on that Genji switches off, gets a nice pick as well, so good value from that selection, not having a comfort Pharah, so, or maybe not comfort, but confident Pharah at least in this game, so has to play something else and gets that pick in the end, and now pressure onto the point, so has to split their attention. One come up high as well, fighting some circular pressure, looking to squeeze out Yahvin'a'poo, but they fend it off nicely. He's actually found the person, but Eloy takes some chip from the Ana, and the D.Va flies forward with those machine guns. It's that final blow, but pressured off to the sideline, has to get the health support. Wantom is trying to force his D.Va into uncomfortable angles, but Fumaki now has the advantage, and Yavin taking another kill. Carl down this time.
These two D.Vas scrapping out, dueling like tanks should. You know, tank v tank, who wins that? Looks like neither of them really. It looks like neither of them are gonna die, but I do believe Eloy is gonna swap over to that soldier, working so well. Better not lose it while you have it. Unisco unfortunately falling to Doctor. Blue Monkey gets the pick on Eloy. Wantom has been demaxed, falls off to reset. It looks like, well, Yahvin'a'poo strongly maintain this point in their favor.
They're looking much better on point too. They're ahead of every single ultimate here because of the 1-out fights, and they're not allowed with to even build up support ults. So having that blade early, and now it's only the bomb. They have to go early with these ultimates, but they can't allow Yahvin'a'poo to build up here. Yahvin'a'poo has to be proactive. There's the nano in his place, but here's the ultimate.
Oh my god!
One on Unisco, Fumaki onto Eloy too. And it's gonna be another 1-out fight early doors. The only saving grace for WIST is that they didn't invest much into this. Kirai down as well, actually, so Wantom making something of this. Invested as well, has to get to the point. 99% now. Can they get the remake? They can, they're allowed to. No! Skengus wrong with the blow. Keeper's low, has to sustain, but Skengus can't get a second. The rush comes through, that's gonna be 0.2 for WIST. And,
wow!
I mean, they didn't get anything off there. They had a bomb and that was it. They didn't get the rush away. They didn't get the sanctuary. Eloy wasn't able to build up the ult in time. It was just Yahvin'a'poo dominance.
Wow! It looked like the exact same game, but Yahvin'a'poo instead. Like, that was excellently well played. That team just instantly knew, right, lock in, let's run Genji. And it worked! You know, constantly shutting down all of those angles from like Eloy and Chief.
I just splashed some water on my
and then
face
just
and
keep
called it a day.
Wantom alive going into these fights worked beautifully. Absolutely well played from Yahvin'a'poo there. Round 3 of Legion Tower. Is Winston gonna be able to clutch this out and take this to the team? That is the real call here. We're gonna find out as the control point unlocks in 1 minute.
Yeah, Eloy's staying on that Symmetra, so a switch up here with Chief on the May as well. We're going to get through that defense matrix as much as possible, and I like the call. Wantom and the Mago once more, pressing forward. Getting high damage, and that's that D-Mech. You can't block half of the damage, you can't block any of the DPS line. Umaki has to survive here, gets the Mega and getting a lot of care. Critical on some of the DPS of WIST, but they survive, and Kira down. That's a lovely wall, but Chief has to be careful here in the face of Reaper. Doesn't land the headshot, doesn't land the headshot, doesn't land the headshot. Reaper TPs for safety.
Okay, we found it.
The final blow. And that was almost dangerous, but it's a good opening duel here from WIST, and it's going to be a switch up from Yavin going for Mag of their own.
I mean, good shout. You know, if it works, it works. There's no point in not picking it. Kirai onto the Venture. That is a pick. Let me tell you, I wasn't certain about that pick here. It might work out though. Pretty good skill from the character, pretty good overall damage. So let's see if it works out for Yahvin'a'poo here. Kirai looking to take that angle, but it gets instantly tethered by Unisco. Maybe it was not the call. Big damage here onto Yahvin'a'poo as Winston are clutching out, but Wantom falls, not able to stay in the 1v1 versus Monkey or Blue Monkey. Yavin sends out the Wu Yang ult, but it finds a pick on the Chief, spending the Blizzard. Sorry, that actually threw me forward. Blue Monkey going down as well. Kirai also going down. Genghis-Khan being the fourth to fall. Will Yavin give him a team wipe? The stagger.
I don't know if I'm just that bad of the game or Winston are playing really unconventionally, but that Blizzard felt like there's an overextension. Wantom died, it wasn't supposed to be respawning, but they get the free one to Funaki, and that's enabling Eloy to build up that beam. Then in the rush plus max beam does so much damage that she's good for 3 there, almost gets falls onto the Wu, and the wave knocks her away and provides stun sustain, but it's a lovely turn on that side from Winston, and it's kept them way ahead of this game when it felt like Yahvin'a'poo should be able to flip it. Does still have an uncontested when they rush to invest, but Eloy has the rules to provide a line of safety, and she's got Yavin early doors for the unsuspecting play headshot. Funaki has to break the spot in the cage as Rush comes through. The wall is in the middle. He doesn't come through, gets blocked out. Unisco finds Dr. Dodge 2. Genghis-Khan with the dire triggers, takes out Chief, but back on the point is Wantom with the slam to Kirai. The Death Blossom stuck behind the wall, finds Eloy, but doesn't find much more. That's going to be Li Jiang to Winston, is sentenced to 7 years in prison. They take us to map number 3.
What? Like, what happened? What a map! That was back-to-back-to-back dominant maps for both teams. The second they had points, they didn't ever give it up. Like, they just kept the point. That was excellently well played from Winston the Sen for 7 years. They might have just had, you know, a little bit of a rough second map there, but they instantly turn it back in their favor. You know, pick the tank that works, I guess. You know, the questionable Blizzard turns out to have not been punished, but, you know, in turn, I guess we did burn the Wu Yang ult when it probably wasn't necessary. Map 3, huh? I was not expecting that after seeing the second round there.
I don't know about the Wu Yang ult. I think it was fine. I think maybe a little bit of an overextension, but just not expecting the Blizzard to come through and then unable to keep the Mago alive. I think they invested the Kekai Sanctuary from the Mitsuki, but obviously if Symmetra's just sitting inside that, charging up the beam, that's blocking nothing. So it's maybe... There's so many great situations for Kekai Sanctuary. That is the worst one, when you're playing inside it and just taking all that damage and the Mago drops, and that's the... I mean, it's not the turning point because ICL was still ahead. They'd have been, at worst, at equal odds there with the flip and maybe sitting about 40%. I think it would have gone about 40% to... I blanked on their name. Who are we watching? This is a serious question. We got Winston against the other team that lost second map. Whoever lost second map, the guys we're just watching right now, they probably would have got about 40 as well. Yahvin'a'poo. But yeah, it would have been about equal odds, so there would have been plenty of map to still be played there, but winning that fight for Eloy with the Kitsune Rush and the assistance, and then in the big Blizzard from Chief, the parting gift, really turned it for them, and that brought us all the way to map 3, and now it's advantage in favor of Yahvin'a'poo, who have the map pick, have the ban pick, and can maybe make a play of this. I'm not sure where they go here, because I mean, Li Jiang and King's Row are gone, and they've not really offered me much in terms of interests. They're both pretty standard maps. Obviously, both, I believe, being picked out by Winston. So maybe there's going to be a spanner in the works thrown out by Yahvin'a'poo, but it could just be a Suravasa.
It could be. I mean, it's very popular pick in terms of uni sports, especially in USS. It seems to be a generally safe pick. There is the ability to go. Nope. End of statement. We're going to Dorado. We don't see that a whole lot here. That's interesting.
Dorado's cool. I watched some Dorado recently, and I think it's a really fun map. I think the dive is lovely on it. I think Winston, ironically, picked out by Yavin on King's Row was the turning point for how they really. It was the linchpin in their attack, and it was what WIST7YIP really struggled with. On the other side, the Hazard felt weaker than the Mauga. You can play a Mauga on Dorado on defense, but I feel like it's harder to get away with on attack. It's possible with the elevation. It's possible perhaps with a cat, but a cat might get banned out. There's a potential for that. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that. So yeah, I think it's difficult, but there's options. There's options.
We have seen how successful Yahvin'a'poo is with that dive comp. So I'm gonna. It is, to be fair, expected if they're going to be picking this map. So I don't want to put my bets for a team yet, but I will say it's a very smart draft, and with the way they were playing on King's Row there, with how dominant that Winston is. Now, to be said, they can just ban Winston sent to 7 years. Can just ban out that Winston, put him in the jail, ban him out, get him out. It's in the name. So are we gonna see a Winston ban?
I think that would be a smart pick. There's a world in which Yavin protects the tank by banning a tank of their own, but Winston actually opting to ban out that Emre. I believe Yavin had first ban, so that's the cat coming through. That makes a lot of sense. I think a Winston ban would have been more sensible. I think that was more threatening. But the Emre from genuinely, my mind is going so blank. I'm so sorry to everyone playing today. The Emre looks really strong. It's definitely a comfort pick. Choosing that hit scan over a Cass or a Sojourn in current meta shows to me that it's more of a comfort pick, and taking that away is a smart move from Wist. But I think the better ban here is the Jetpack Cat. It means they can't really run a Malga as comfortably. It means they can't run that Cat Bastion, which we saw be so effective on points in Lijiang, and that is potentially the way that Yavin win this one out.
I do believe it was Kangaskhan that played the Emre, which I mean, it makes sense that I mean, if you were gonna try and rerun the Cat Bastion comp, which I mean they've banned it out, but if your mind was looking at it, Emre is an excellent pick to stop that, just snipe the cat out of the air, forcing them back down to the ground. So we do have that Winston available to Yahvin'a'poo, which we've seen is so dominant. However, I am gonna say that Winston sent to 7 years has been looking lean on the Sojourn today, so I'm excited to see what these teams, and this is something to look at.
It's not what I was expecting to see, that's for sure. I'm almost hoping we get a switch up here, but maybe it'd be fun. Wantom on the Winston, so what I was expecting to be maybe a mirror is not the case. Yahvin'a'poo opting for a Roadhog and a Reaper, so they're definitely expecting
we
this
might be flipping around stuff here.
Yeah, Kirai on the Pharaoh makes sense. Pumaki, there it is on the Winston. So it's a Winston mirror. Eloy's cast has to go big onto Kirai, who was looking so good on the Pharaoh. Doctor and Carl mirroring those Annas. Carl had the Anna banned out first map, had to stick to something else, and it was a Life Weaver that wasn't showing too much value, and the Wuyang mirror as well. So lots of damage potential from really every character on this screen.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen that Chief is comfortable in that Tracer. We've seen that Kirai is comfortable in that Pharah. Let's see what Kangaskhan and Eloy can do on these cast picks. Running the same support comp. I do love me some Ana, so let's see what's going to work out better here. The Pharah or the Tracer? Mostly posturing. Chief taking the duel with Kirai. Kirai being smart enough to back off there. You don't have enough resources to work with. Kangaskhan and Pumaki dipping a little bit low. Neutral looks a little scary here, people dipping low, but it doesn't look anything too threatening at the moment.
Yeah, jumping forward, taking control of the high.
Kangaskhan!
UNESCO to find Stengus early doors, pops the question mark in chat, and with that wing angle, wet balls just blown out of the Cassidy. And I think Chief has a harder time here than Kirai with the way the other opposite comp is set up, but doing so well to just pressure off bits of the high ground or the flank sight lines, making that Tracer just a bit of a nuisance, like a fly, almost more of a mosquito just on the walls. You don't want to get bitten there. I get a little bit itchy, a little bit uncomfortable. The monkey though on part is very keen. Ransom has to back to the high ground, gonna get pushed out, but no follow-up from Poo Monkey. He's also taking some big damage. Sken gets off the sideline. Is potentially a dangerous flank.
Listen, I would say that Mosquito is an apt description for Tracer. You know, you do understand that they cause more death than any other insect on this planet, right? So that's a good thing to name Tracer, as all this damage is coming out. As Genghis does find the pick on Carl, Kirai keeping low as well. And we're starting to see that Mosquito come into play here. Unisco also going low. Can Winston clutch this out? No, one jump is going to fall. Eloy is going to fall. Chief barely makes it out of there. And Yahvin'a'poo are going to take this point. Are they going to capture the point? I don't think so. I think they're going to get a contest here before they can take the point.
Yeah, there was a Nano Monkey from Yahvin'a'poo, which puts Poo Monkey just a little bit ahead of Wanton, but on the other side, they still have the Nano available. They can recontest with a Nano Monkey of their own. Increases that damage a lot, but most importantly, just makes them a harder pick to find. There's the Kirai barrage, and this one doesn't get any value. There is the Nano Monkey on the other side. Deadeye gets the kill. Eloy on the Deadeye return finds Kirai as well. I'm not quite sure how the barrage got nothing, but Yahvin'a'poo can afford that. This primal investment, I think, is a mistake. He doesn't want to die here, Poo Monkey, but now he's not got his armor for later on. Yavin has won the fight over onto the Chief, so that's big. And the Wuyang armor comes through as well, so maybe they can flip this one. The stun comes through one time, less primal of his own. And I think these teams are just a little bit loose, a little bit silly with this. As so deep in as one Tom, low HP despite in primal form, jumps away though, gets to safety, and that's nice work from the Winston, but doesn't provide any advantage here as Poo Monkey's used theirs and Wantom's used the own. It's only the Unisco armor now left available. Got to go to Fernanda.
Yeah, the ult fight worked out in 7 years. We're starting to see this happen again. Tracer with the Wuyang ult does pressure out Doctor, and we are getting the pick as well as things are falling to one Tom. Double kill in favor of Yahvin'a'poo here, finding Unisco and Chief. Poo Monkey down, just mixing up the name, I guess. Just gonna mix up the name. New names for people.
It's a lovely ult there from Unisco onto Chief, and despite the anti-nade, they can't find the final blow onto the Tracer, and it is Poo Monkey trying to peel for support, but it provides, I mean, a lack of front-facing cover for the rest of the team, who all fall to Eloy's shots, to Wantom's right clicks, and to Unisco's Wuyang water balls. And now Chief sideline once again pressuring out Kirai on the Pirates. A nice move there, but sleep onto Poo Monkey.
Oh no!
And Nano Winston is slowed down massively, looking to find the Cassidy, but can't get anything going. The Ana now target Carl is so low, but Eloy down. Takes down Poo Monkey. It's advantage now surely for Yavin, for Winston, and they found 3. Chief has to pass as well. They can get the stick on the Dr. Rock, so that's going to be the end. There it is.
Wow!
And that's a beautiful hold from WIST7YIP.
That was a beautiful team play for that. That was truly impeccable. There were a couple of questionable picks, but man, other than that, that was excellently well played from Winston is sent to 7 years. Yahvin'a'poo are gonna have to lock in here. That's gonna be a tough defense. That's gonna be tough. What do you think?
I don't have much hope for Yahvin'a'poo here. I think Winston holding on first point is so strong. I don't even think they got to like the meters ticking down on their offensive side, Yavin. So yeah, maybe that's just in the brink of it, but 80.21, it's not the best push, and we're just running the exact same comp this time on the attack, and Yavin going to do the same thing on the defense, I imagine, unless Poo Monkey does stick to that hog that we saw earlier. But I think it's going to be the Winston, and I think it's going to be an advantage for WIST7YIP. Chief doing so much work on the Tracer in a situation where you don't expect the most, and that's really, I think, the difference maker compared to Kirai's Pharaoh, which was so effective on King's Row, but really lacked any final blows, any pressure on the attack side of Dorado.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but I do believe that Poo Monkey and Kirai do have really good synergy in these dives, so I'm not gonna hold out here or hold back hope. I think they're gonna be able to find it. The Freya. Wait a minute. I just realized this here. We're walking out on Freya from Eloy here, so there might be a little bit of tech here. Wonton dipping it super low.
The Freya wasn't banned, yeah, so that's definitely an option available.
I mean, it is. I was gonna say it is available. It's just we hadn't seen it yet, so it could be tech. Could be tech. We don't know yet. So mostly a lot of posturing this fight, with most of it landing on the side of Winston 7 years as both Wonton and Eloy go down. That's rough. It's fine though. We got 3 minutes.
I mean, the good thing about the Freya is the ult gets built up fast, but you need to get those picks to get that extra ult speed, and nothing good doing for Eloy just yet. Kiroi finding value on that Pharah. This time, finding it easier on the defense, perhaps than the attack. But, I mean, they just don't have anywhere to go. It's so short, the push they have to make. They just have to get some big ults in this fight to with 7YIP. Yahvin'a'poo have to play so safe, so sustained. They have to be really good at that ult usage. Pumaki not able to get the high ground. Eloy not quite hitting the shots, but not to matter because Kiroi's low. Kiroi's down to Coles and a snipe for that old school Anna. Sniper comes through. Kiroi down, and here's the Nano Winston. Lanton pressuring forward, so much damage waved away. But can he get back on it? Yeah, that's a jump on the Doctor. This might be the end already, but Pumaki looks to return it with a kill onto Carl. Though trades out Skengis, and Yavin caught up on the high ground. Pumaki though onto UNESCO, eventually falls to Chief, and that might be the stagger they need. Gets the group respawn with the Yavin, but that 3 on car is just going to push it so far forward.
Excellently well played from Winston to 7 years here. We're starting to see how strong this team is. I think we're going to be forced to spend a lot of cooldowns just to get on a point to contest this, because if they don't, that is it. And I think we're starting to see the beginning of the end here as Kiroi falls very quickly to Carl. Nano Boost comes out onto the Reaper here. Are we going to find a pick? Pumaki's going down as well. Yavin getting super low. Back up. So much damage coming out here. The Freya comes out, doesn't find the pick. Wonton finds this pick onto Skangiskan. And the game goes to Winston is sent to 7 years in prison with Winston, ironically enough.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we see why they banned the Ana in the first map, because despite the stat line being a little bit underwhelming from Carl, it was the value of him in that final stretch of the attack. Finds a pick onto the Pharah of Kiroi, and then gets the anti onto the Winston as well, and gets the final blow too, and that's really what marks the end for Yahvin'a'poo. Winston struggling out on King's Row, but looking so dominant in the latter 2 maps.
That second map, I still believe that, I think it was just a couple of fights that went wrong, but honestly, well played from both teams here. I do believe that both very easily could have won, either way on all of those maps there. It was quite dominant at points for both teams. So GG, well played. I do believe we are going to be going to the break to get game number 2. Do you have any other words, Sam?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail quite directly on the head there. I think towards the end, the WIST7YIP looked like the better team, like the deserving team to win, but definitely credit to Yahvin'a'poo for their performance on map 1 and how they kept it close on Lijiang Tower. It just felt a little bit like they'd run out of steam when it came to Dorado, and those bans ended up being really nice for Winston, who was sentenced to 7 years in prison. I hope he gets out on bail sooner than that, maybe a reduced sentence down to 3 or 4 years after that successful win. And that puts them, I believe, up to 5 wins, whereas, stuck on 4 are Yahvin'a'poo.
Yeah, I do believe that with the bloodbath that team has been spilling, we might be getting out early on good behavior. So looking forward to see where this story goes, and I think we're going to go to our break. Don't click away yet.